We are at FedEx Field, 1 hour away from the final home game of the year for the Redskins, looking to run their record to 5-3 at home this year and 7-8 for the season. 2 games to go this year. Denver, the opponent, today at FedEx Field. They are 5-9. I'm Larry Michael with Sonny Jurgensen, Hall of Famer Sonny Jurgensen, Chris Cooley, Doc Walker. Rigo's going to stop by. And gentlemen, Merry Christmas to you, Sonny.
Merry Christmas.
Chris, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
And you have a very special Christmas because now Santa is going to stop at your place, and there are 2 kids awaiting the arrival of Santa.
I'm also one of those very special parents who realize that the real thing that my indecisive 3-year-old wants is a unicorn, and it's Christmas Eve.
Uh-oh. Well,
so
you will be driving home after the game, won't you?
No overtime, pick up 1 unicorn. I know this is off topic, but I told my wife I think I could just get a toy horse if I can't find the unicorn and sew an extra horn on the head.
Could do that. Hey, Rigo, do you have any suggestions for Cooley, who is yet to do his final piece of Christmas shopping?
Do like I do. Just write him a real nice note and tell him how much you love him. I think that's... it's from the heart. Doesn't take a lot of time. You don't have to fight any crowds. By the way, we have an extra unicorn at the house there, Chris. Might be able to locate it, get it out to your house.
I'm going to need the unicorn. My daughter can't read yet.
Yeah, the note won't work, Rigo, because she can't read. She's only 3.
You read it to her. You read it to her. Put Santa's thumbprint on it.
All right.
It'll work every time.
Well, let's see. Let's see if it'll be cold in the Redskins stocking today, or whether they're going to get a nice gift of a victory. And Sonny, let's start with you. Everybody wants to talk about Kirk Cousins and what his future is. To me, he's shown some pretty good focus this year, especially down the stretch here. This team continues to play hard, and Kirk continues to play well.
Played well, and we don't know what he's going to do.
You were talking about it before the game. I mean, he could always reject a huge offer, right?
Well, that's right. He could reject the offer he gets now, saying, I've been here all along. Where's this offer been? Maybe you don't want me as badly as you say you do. And he may want to try some other place.
But usually money talks, right, Rigo?
I think so, Larry, and I'm with Sonny on this. I think, let's face it, when it's all said and done, I'd have to believe number 8 is in the driver's seat. It's call shot. Wherever he wants to go is where he's going to end up. And we'll find that out. I mean, he's a professional. He's going to play it on out, but I would say there's a very strong likelihood that he could be in another uniform next year.
How about this one they're playing today?
Might be an audition, right, Sonny?
Exactly right.
They've voiced their desire to have Kirk on the team. Hey, Chris, you talk about this about 20 hours a week, every day, Monday through Friday on Cooley and Kevin. What does Kirk want to do? We know what the fans, you guys had a great poll this week, and, all this conjecture. But what do you think Kirk Cousins wants to do? You know him very well.
Thanks for trolling me. All I can tell you about Kirk and knowing him very well is I think he wants to be a part of a winning organization, be a part of a winning football team, be somewhere where he's shown that he's wanted. He wants to operate within the process of what football is. And as he's said over and over, he'll pray about it and he'll be told the decision that he needs to make. I don't know what he really wants to do. I think that's one of the enigmas of the situation is his complete omission of what he actually wants to do. I don't see him as a I want money guy. I just see him as an I want respect guy, but I don't know what he feels he's getting.
You think he's talked to the Redskins at all about what they have in mind for him?
Nope.
I would say
yes. I would say there has to have been some discussions taking place. If not with him, then his rep.
Well, if you look at it, I mean, and I don't know Kirk at all, but I know a little bit of his history. And he's in a place in his life he's never, ever been before. He's finally not just wanted, he's in demand. He's never, ever had that. And it's got to be a pretty unique feeling for him, I'm guessing. And based on everything that he's been through, I mean, if you put yourself in his own shoes and you think about it, and what he probably, and you've seen a lot of these moments where it gets pent up, and it's almost like a relief valve. You've seen these moments where you like that, you see there's something pent up inside of him. I'm saying that very well he might want a fresh start someplace else. I could certainly see that possibility.
Rigo's Take, brought to you by McLean Mortgage Corporation. Lending as it should be. Let's focus in on this game. Opponent Scanner Report brought to you by D.C. Department of Transportation. D.C. police are arresting drunk and drug drivers. Drive sober or get pulled over. And Mr. Cooley, when you look at the Denver team, you look at a team that's won 5 games, but you also look at statistically the number 1 rated defense in the NFL, 4th against the rush, 2nd against the pass. How do the Redskins move the ball today against the Broncos?
Well, they're going to struggle to move the ball today against the Broncos. That's what everyone does against the Denver Broncos. They give up 237 yards a game. They're tops in the league or second in the league in third down conversion percentage. And so I think the Redskins are going to have to find a way to make some plays. They're going to maybe be a little bit creative, utilize some screen stuff, get the ball in the hands of their receivers early immediately, and then ultimately I think Kirk is going to have to create any of the bigger plays in the passing game, and that might be off schedule, or that might be waiting or buying time in the pocket where Ryan Grant can win, Josh Doctson can win. Do I see him running the ball effectively today? I think that's very unlikely based on Denver's defense in the front and what we've done so far. So I think they're going to have to benefit, if they can, through some field position, through some turnovers that the Broncos make, and then capitalize on a few plays.
They were 1 for 9 last week in third down conversions. They said they were going to work on that this week. So we should see some improvement in 1 for 9.
Now, last week, Sonny, before we take the break, last week you pointed at the opposition's quarterback as a weakness to the opponent, and the Redskins really took advantage of Gabbert, especially early. What do you think about Osweiler?
I think the same thing that I thought about Gabbert. Now, Lynch, I don't think he can play. They may have to see if he can play if something happened to Osweiler. But, they have the edge there if they can force some turnovers out of Osweiler.
P. Ryan looks like he's going to give it a go, John. You got Bibbs, and you've got Agumbawale as well. Okay, now the second 2 guys just on board for a week. Chris says it's going to be hard to run the football, but really, you're going to have to try, aren't you?
Well, I think that, that's something I didn't think Jay Gruden really, the last couple of years, he really wasn't a big guy to try to rush the football, but it seems he's evolved a little bit this year, and I agree with you. They're still going to have to try to run the football. And, P. Ryan, go in there and, get a yard or 2, 3 yards, whatever it may be, come up and make that, second, third down, just try to make it as short as you can. So, like anything else, you want to slow down Denver's pass rush, and the best way to do that is at least to keep them honest by running the football occasionally.
Kickoff 53 minutes away here, the Redskins and Broncos. Coming up next, comments from Coach Jay Gruden. You're listening to Washington Redskins football. At FedEx Field, where the countdown to kickoff continues, 48 minutes until kickoff, the Redskins and Broncos. Hall of Fame-style transportation provided by Reston Limousine. Book now at restonlimo.com. Chris, it seemed to me that at the Coaches Show taping this week, Jay Gruden had a much different attitude than he did the prior week. How big was that win for him last week?
I think the win was massive for Jay Gruden last week. You could feel a week ago the pressure mounting on Jay just to get a win, and to me I think it's his responsibility to his team that makes him feel that way. You could look at the outside influence and say whatever you want to say, but I think Jay has a commitment to this group of guys as well as this entire coaching staff because they've watched them fight and grind and work through adversity all year, and he feels committed to helping them win.
Doc Walker is with us on the sideline, and Doc, you spent all week at Redskins Park. What a difference a week makes, huh?
Well, absolutely. In terms of enthusiasm, it was a friendly place to come to work. Larry, if that's what you mean, and not having that tension to produce. Other than that, it's just good to get a win, man. 2 losses, 2 weeks in a row, never good for any of us.
All right, time to hear from the coach, brought to you by Metro. What started as Metro's Promise is now Metro's Progress. Find out more at WMATA.com/back-to-good. All right, Coach Gruden, what makes Denver's defense so good? He's a football player, but how do you attack that defense, Coach Gruden? All right, Coach Gruden, what have you liked about your offense this year? Rigga, 1 of 9 last week, third down conversions. This deep into the season with the roster the way it is, how much could you actually get done this week to improve a team?
Well, we're going to find out this afternoon, Larry. Personally, I don't think, it's like you said, it's late in the season. You got a lot of injuries, a lot of new people. I just don't see it really improving that much. And it's kind of shocking because, you would think that they would be a better third down team. But for whatever reason, that number has gone way down as the season started to trail out here.
Chris, what are your thoughts on that? 1 of 9 last week. You got 2 games to go. The running back situation is featuring 9 different running backs so far this year. 9 different running backs with the guys that were added here just a couple days ago.
They install and prepare third downs every single week. So when they say they're going to work on it, they're going to evaluate what Denver does, and they're going to try to execute against them. You still have to have guys win. Your receivers have to make plays. Your quarterback has to be good. You have to have time in the pocket. When you really want to start working on third down, in my opinion, you need to get in 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s. And so you're in a situation where you don't have the 3rd and super long plays. That's part of working on third down, is not being in bad situations. And I'm sure they understand that as well. But if you can't convert, possession is everything, and you have a hard time scoring points.
Back to Coach Gruden. What is the strength of the Denver offense, Coach Gruden? Coach didn't remember his name there, Chris.
He's a numbers guy. I'm a numbers guy. All these guys that watch film end up being numbers guys.
Well, I mean, you got another guy's name now, right? I mean, Simeon. I mean,
minor detail, Larry.
Samson, Swami Swanson, Samsonite.
All right, the big question for the coach. The final question for the coach. How do you think Kirk Cousins has done this year, Jay? Our Kirk Cousins and the Redskins taking on the Denver Broncos. Countdown to kickoff, 47 minutes and counting. After a timeout, Chris Cooley's Keys. This is the Washington Redskins Radio Network. .43 degrees here at FedEx Field. 39 minutes until kickoff. The Redskins and Broncos, the 14th overall meeting between these two teams. The Broncos lead the series with 7 wins, 6 losses. Of course, Super Bowl 22, 42-10. The Redskins won that game. Last time they met was 2013 in Denver. The Redskins lost 45-21. Time for Chris Cooley's Keys, brought to you by John Leahy and the Leahy Group. Your home sold, guaranteed, or John will buy it himself. Go to johnhashomebuyers.com for more information. Chris Cooley's Keys. I've been waiting all week for this.
I'm sure you're so excited about this. The key to this game defensively is to make plays against Brock Osweiler, and one of the keys for this defense is going to be the key eyes of Brock Osweiler. He tells you everything you need to know as he drops back to pass with where he looks to throw the football. So our secondary do no more than key the eyes of Brock Osweiler, and then if you can, man, you make some plays. And you and I and Rigo and Doc and Sonny, we all know that turnovers are going to be a key in this game. If the Broncos are going to lose, I think they lose it themselves to some extent, but it might be by the Redskins creating turnovers. So key the eyes of Brock Osweiler, shut him down. If he plays poorly, this defense will be outstanding today, and you can force him to play poorly. Second key, no big plays. You got to tackle today. C.J. Anderson's one of the best in the business when it comes to breaking tackles. He's third in the league in yards after contact. He averages almost 2.5 yards after every single contact. But you can't allow him to have the big play. You can't allow him to have the easy play where the back shakes through a couple linebackers. Now he's scooting down the hash outside of the sideline, and you're saying 40, 35, 30. No. No big plays today for this Denver offense. Offensively, one of the keys for us is for Jay Gruden and Kirk Cousins to create. I think Jay's got to create and be creative throughout the day with what he does with the football. He's got to design for players. If you want to just operate within the process, I think it's hard against the Denver Broncos. So he's got to create. They got to have a great tempo. You got to be the line of scrimmage. You got to be rocking and roll. Motion's got to go. You got to make them really line up and make decisions and make adjustments. You can't just be slow, walk to the line as a group, and let them look at what you have. They'll take advantage of that. And then finally, I think Kirk is going to have to create as well as part of that. He might have to make some plays outside of the pocket. He might have to scramble every once in a while. He might have to find the big throw as he gets outside of the pocket to the numbers. But creating offensively is going to be a key.
All right, there you have it. We'll check Chris's keys at halftime. Rick Walker, last week the Redskins started fast on that strip of the ball by, it was Lanier, and Preston Smith almost took it in. And listening to Chris right now, this Denver offense isn't going to scare you. You think the Redskins can do something similar today?
Well, we're going to better hope so, Larry. I'm down here by the offensive line where they warm up. And
What
it's just
about you?
weird seeing Trent Williams. You know what I mean?
I think they can do something similar today. They have weapons. Emmanuel Sanders out for the game. Correct.
Right.
So that really limits what they do offensively to some extent. You got to work on Demaryius Thomas a little bit, but yeah, I think Brock Osweiler will make bad decisions. I think he'll throw balls into coverage, and if you don't allow him to run it, even to some extent they allowed the Cardinals to run it last week, and they still ended up getting stops. I think they can do something very similar to that. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see the final score Broncos 10 or less.
How about for Washington? How many points you got there?
Well, I said they'd score 20. I think I picked the Redskins to win 20-10 here.
Is that
so? They're going to do something, but it really
repeat of last week.
Rigo, I really wouldn't be surprised if it comes from an Anthony Lanier strip sack and you got the ball on the 6-yard line and you run one play and you score a touchdown.
Not a lot of long drives then.
The Broncos, well, they've been great defensively throughout the year, are not the best in the red zone in terms of defense, so teams have scored on them.
Right. In red zone defense, what are they? They're 29th in red zone defense.
There you go. You got to get it in the red zone, and then they stink.
And they're first in the league defensively.
They don't practice red zone defense a lot because they're never in the red zone.
Odd stat. All right, Rigo's Final Take is coming up next on the Countdown to Kickoff show, and you're listening to Washington Redskins football.